Hello, and thank you so much for joining me on what is a beautiful evening. The heat has gone out of the sun, so I'm in my element. There's a gentle breeze. There are cirrus clouds in the sky, and the contrails are being wafted into long streams of thin cloud. So it's a good time to come out and do some watering, but before I do that, I want to just share a tale with you. It is absolutely true, but I'll just tell you and see what you make of it. This happened about 35 more years ago, before we'd moved over to Cheshire. And friends were downsizing their house. So rather than having a housewarming party in the house they were going to move into, that they were going to be doing quite a bit of work on, they decided to have a house cooling party in their own old, much larger, very much party house. So it was fancy dress. I can't remember the actual title of it, but it was something with a medical cooling down end vibe to it. I think I went dressed as a nurse, and there were several other nurses, doctors, and one group had made a cardboard coffin and came dressed as undertakers, carrying the coffin in on their shoulders. They made quite an entrance. The party was good, and the house move happened. And then sadly, I had a phone call to say that my friend had been in a car crash. She had turned her car completely upside down, and she was in a bad way. Fortunately, now, whether this was coincidence, call it what you will, the car just behind her was a fireman who leapt out, dialing for assistance as he did it, and was able to get her out of the car because it was looking as if it could set on fire. There was fuel dripping and it was looking very dangerous. He said he had no choice, he just had to get her out. The car behind that one was a nurse. She also leapt out and she began giving CPR until the ambulance arrived, and my friend was taken off to hospital. So they were in the right place at the right time. They saved her life. And she was in a coma for quite a few weeks, but she recovered and began to rebuild her life. She was a fighter. Began to do some more gentle work than her work had been previously. And she was getting on, getting out, getting about. We had a party, and she and her husband came, and all was going well. There was a knock at the door, and it was a latecomer, a friend of mine. And she said, "Oh, Dee, can I just go somewhere private?" I said, "Yes, of course you can." So took her into my bedroom, and she burst into tears. She said, "I would know the registration on that car outside. She said, it's a different car, but that registration is etched on my mind. Do you know whose it is? I said, yes. She said, well, I was the nurse who was following the fireman who gave her CPR. She said, I've never known, because I didn't work in the hospital she was taken to. I didn't know which hospital she was taken to. And I never knew whether she lived or died. I said, she's doing a great job. She said, I would love to meet her. So I said, right, okay, you sit here. And I gave her a box of tissues and a glass of water. Went down and took my friend's husband out into the hall and explained the situation to him. I said, I don't know how you want to handle it, but the person who gave her the CPR is sitting upstairs on my bed, desperate to have a chat with her. He said, oh gosh, yes, that would be wonderful. So he took her out into the hall and we explained, as she burst into tears even before she'd seen this other lady. So I held her hand and took her up the stairs, took her into my bedroom, gave her a glass of water and some tissues, and closed the door and left them to it. And it was quite some time before they came down. But both said, what an amazing coincidence that was again. And how lovely for both to be able to know the other person who had played such an important role in their lives that day. So there we are. Was it coincidence? I feel as if I'm introducing a television mystery. Was it coincidence? Was it just the right place at the right time? I don't know. I know others will have their views, but it happened. And my friend made a wonderful recovery. And my nursing friend said, I'll never forget that moment of meeting her again. She said that was fantastic. On that note, I will say thank you for joining me. And I now have no excuse not to get on with watering my hanging baskets. Hardly a daunting task, in fact, just the opposite, a very pleasant one. Thank you for joining me. Take care. Be kind to yourself. Take care when you're driving. And we often talk of kindness on here, but that was kindness above and beyond. That was just human love, with humans helping another unknown human. There are good people in the world, but we rarely hear about them. So it's good to be able to give them a shout out. Thank you for joining me. Take care. Bye for now. Bye.